Welcome back to another radiant installment of the Summer of Her series, a season where we're turning up the volume on the voices of women who are shaping our culture, building legacy, and saying it forward with powerful, purpose-filled ways. Today's guest, well, she's penning the future quite literally. She's a storytelling mentor, a creative powerhouse, and the woman behind some of the most empowering children's books lighting up shelves and hearts right now. From her award-winning Peyton's Journey series to launching Lit Kids Create Young Authors Academy and building a resource hub for first-time children's book authors, Paula Banks is doing the work and making it look dope while she does it. She's part educator, part entrepreneur, part hip hop storyteller, and all heart. Rooted in faith, fueled by purpose, she's here to break down how she's empowering the next generation of voices and helping grown folks bring their stories to life too. This is a creative collision of passion, publishing, and purpose. This is the Story Hustler. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Say It Forward with Lou. We are a community of healing, growth, creativity, and positivity. So let's dive into today's episode and chat. And so, as I said earlier, this is another installment of the Summer of Her series, where we spotlight women who are not only walking in their calling, but planting seeds and changing the game for generations to come. Today's guest is not just writing stories, she's rewriting what's possible. She's a powerhouse, a purpose penner, and a publishing pioneer, an author, mentor, and founder who's committed to helping the next generation of voices find their power through the page. I'm talking to none other than Paula Banks, the author behind the beloved Peyton's Journey children's book series, the visionary behind Eon Books, and the creative mind building platforms like Lit Kids Create and the upcoming Children's Book Hustle Academy. She's got faith, fire, and a little hip hop flair in how she empowers storytellers, big and small. So let's dive in because this is about to be a story worth telling. Hey, Paula.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Say It Forward with Lou community. I am so happy to have you here with us
I am so happy to
today.
be here. Thank you for
Yes,
having
yes,
me.
yes, yes. So we love to kick things off here at the Say It Forward community with what's in your cup of cozy. And your cup of cozy is literal and figurative because what's in your cup matters, right? And so we have to make sure that our cups are full so that the people around us can live in our overflow. So that could be your literal coffee, tea, water, or figuratively, what's just kind of keeping you going today? So Paula, what's in your cup of cozy this morning?
My cup of coffee this morning is, of course, coffee because that literally keeps me going. But what also keeps me going is my why and why I do everything that I do. Why do I keep going? Why do I keep showing up? And that is to ensure that our next generation of children understand that their voice matters.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have some tea this morning. It's a blend, an herbal blend of tea for skin and hair
Okay.
and nails. So yes. And my cup of cozy this morning is I'm just starting the day off in prayer and some worship real quick, just to set the tone for the day
Always,
as well.
always.
Absolutely. So I want to start right at the root, storytelling. When did you first realize the power of your stories and how did that evolve into now Eon Books? And I hope I'm saying that correctly. Is it
You're right.
Eon?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
right.
good. Okay.
Yes. I always loved storytelling. It was something that I've just always been drawn to. And I think that's a big reason why I love hip hop so much because it's a form of storytelling. But when I was younger, I didn't feel that I was in a space where I could voice or tell my stories. It was just my confidence was low, or I just didn't feel like I had anything to say. And growing up, you're always told to, only speak when you're spoken to, or stay in your place. You're a child. So that kind of stifles your creativity in a sense. And as I got older, I knew that at sometime in my life, I wanted to be an author. I wanted to tell my stories how I wanted to tell them. And it didn't happen until last year and a half ago at 46. It took a long time to get here, but I've always been fearful of like the what ifs, the what ifs. And as my kids are now, they are in their 20s, they don't need me in the same way as they did before. So my husband was like, are you going to do this or you're not? You're going to regret it. So I just got off the fence and I did it. And ever since then, it's been a beautiful thing.
That's so awesome. And just sidebar, kids in your 20s is wild to me that
Yes, I have two sons.
you have
Yes,
kids.
24 and 22.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you've built a whole publishing platform, right? On stories that reflect real representation, books that look and sound like the kids reading them. Was that always your mission?
Yes. So when I was a kid, there was no books that had children that looked like me. Not one character. I cannot sit here and tell you a book that I was like, oh, they look like me or resemble me. And I don't think I seen a book like that until I was in high school when I wasn't reading picture books anymore. But I didn't understand it. Like, why are my other friends, who are not of color, they're always characters in the book. They're always the hero. And I knew that that was something that I didn't like feeling. And I never want kids to have to feel like that. So I knew that I always wanted to represent Black and brown children in storybooks. I think it's so important because it's just not about them being in books. It really affects them with how they move in the world to see when they're not represented.
Absolutely. And that's very true. And I say the same thing. We didn't see representations of little black, brown, yellow children in books.
At all.
And then when you had some of the representations, they weren't always in the most positive light either.
No, or we're the sidekick, or we're not the heroine or the hero. We're like a sub actor, sub character. It was never like we got the glory.
Right.
So I wanted to be a part of that change. That's what happened with Peyton's journey.
Okay. So that's a good segue into Peyton's journey. And I'm loving the series. It's heartfelt, it's relatable, and it's filled with life lessons. So what inspired Peyton's journey? I guess you kind of already talked about that, but just expand a little bit more, or who inspired Peyton's journey and how do these stories connect with your purpose today?
So Peyton is really just me. I'm living through Peyton. Things that I didn't do, wouldn't say, things I shied away from because I was so not confidence filled and I shrunk myself a lot. So she's doing all the things that I wish I could have done. Having hip hop is in the second book was really important to me because that's one of the things that I really love. And I just feel that Peyton just represents a lot of little girls out here. The natural hair, the brown skin, just enjoying being a kid and then along the way learning, lessons sprinkled in between. I'm so proud of the character of Peyton that I've created. And that just have little girls come up to me and be like, oh my God, she looks just like me. That's it. That's the cherry on the top. So that is just like the best thing that I could hear because I know that I did what I set out to do.
Absolutely. And that's excellent. And so you recently released, is it a fourth book right now?
Yes, it's a fourth book. It's not in the Peyton Journey series. I wanted to have a book for boys, for little brown boys as well. So I released a Marcus and Big Red Super Truck Adventure. As a kid growing up, I loved to play with cars and trucks and stuff. So that was another part of my childhood that I wanted to integrate into the story. And I wanted little boys to also be represented because, sometimes we get caught up with little girls and, girls want to be represented, little Black girls, but little Black boys, they want to be represented as well. So that's why I decided to write Marcus and Big Red.
Awesome. So can you speak to some of the differences in Marcus and Big Red and the character Peyton, just for the fact that it's boy versus girl, or not boy versus girl, but boy and girl?
Writing for Marcus and Big Red, it was a little different because, of course, I'm a girl. So I have to come from an angle of thinking of like, what do little boys like? What do what do they want? So I had to do a little research. I know little boys love trucks and that hasn't changed since I was a kid. So I just wanted to make sure that I was touching on, things for little boys and giving a lesson as well. So my kids haven't been small in a long time, so a lot of things have changed. So I just did a little bit more research than I did when I was writing Peyton, but it seems to have worked out because people are loving Big Red and Marcus, I love it. I just wanted
I
something to
love
have
that.
in my series that would speak to little brown boys in the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. So I want to shift gears a little bit. And you received the Generational Change Award for your work. And that's major, right? And so how did it feel to be recognized for legacy work like that? And then speak
It
to,
was
if for our listeners, just giving some background on what the Generational Change Award is.
So the Generational Change Award was something that I received from the Moments of Moms conference. And for me, being just a woman who started late and on this journey, and to be doing the work to help younger kids, and just showing that it doesn't matter how old you are, that you can follow your dreams and your aspirations. And to receive that award was super important. And it just was so special because I had no idea that I would have made such an impact in such a short amount of time. And it just showed me that once I got off the fence and really put fear, I didn't let it go, but I moved with it, everything just pivoted. So it's a beautiful thing to be recognized for what I'm doing and to know that what I'm doing is making an impact. So it was a beautiful thing to receive. It was a shock that I actually won. So that was a great highlight so far in my journey.
That's absolutely awesome. And I know all too well about starting late, starting this podcast, right? For me, pursuing life coaching all last year in my late 40s. And so that is such a good point to highlight that, just start.
Just
It is
start.
never too late. It is never too late. And even if you don't think you have everything in place, all the resources, all the qualifications, just start. And God blesses what you start.
That is so true because as soon as I started people always say, "Oh, you've been doing this for years." I'm like, "Nah, it was 9 months, 8 months." And they're like, "What?" My whole goal in 2024 was to have one book by the end of 2024. When 2024 rolled around, I had four.
So
And I
awesome.
had did a workbook series, and I had, done podcasts and things of that nature. I was going to conferences. I wrote an anthology book. It was just like so many things that started happening. And I tell everyone, it's like God is waiting to bless you, but you got to take that first step. And I'm telling you, as soon as I said, okay, I'm just going to do this, I don't know what I'm doing. Everything just pivoted, and it's still pivoting. Sometimes you're just in awe of the things that happen and things that he's blessing you with once you finally just say, I'm not going to let fear hold me back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about your mentoring work. Lit Kids Create Young Authors Academy. How did that come to be?
So when I started going into the schools to do like read alouds and do career day, a lot of kids were just like, I want to be, I like to write, but I can't be an author because I don't have a lot of money and I don't write well. And, they just lit up when they saw that they could be a writer. And they're like, so you have to find the company to do this. And I'm like, no, I did it myself. So I realized that kids really want to tell their stories, but they feel that they're not in a position to do so. Whether
Right.
it's money, their circumstances, they don't think they're good enough. And I wanted to show them that you can be an author today if you wanted to. At 10, there's authors who are 7 right now walking around. But if you don't see it and nobody's nurturing your voice, then you feel like you just can't do it. So Lit Kids Create is something that I want to help kids develop their voice and develop their confidence. And to when it comes to writing, you have to develop the confidence for them to be able to tell their story before they write it. In school, they're always about the grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, but nobody's nurturing that voice for them to feel safe to tell their stories to get to that stage. So that's where Lit Kids Create comes in and what I'm trying to do. And to also let them know that they can be authors. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So that's how that came about because I don't want kids to feel like I felt at the end of the day where I felt like I didn't have a safe place to tell my stories or to use my voice or believe my voice matters. And that's where it all comes down from because I know how that feels. And
Yes.
I don't want any kids to feel like that. So that's why I continuously just keep going and pushing.
That's awesome. And you've said you had students as young as like 7 writing full stories. So what moment or student story reminded you that you're doing exactly what you're meant to do? Is there something that one story or a couple stories that stand out to you?
Yeah, so when I was doing a workshop that I do, it's called Books by Me Workshop, and it's where to help kids write their stories and then publish them. So one child, he was doing the work, but he doesn't like to really write. He likes to illustrate. So when I went over to him, I was like, "Oh, this is dope," and he was like, "It's okay, I don't write, so it's not important." And I'm just like, "No, storytelling is told in different forms. It could be drawing, writing, music, acting, performance. That's all storytelling." And I think with people, they think storytelling is actually just written. It's just something that is on paper, poetry, essays. But that's not the truth. Not all kids can tell the story through writing. They tell it through a illustration. So I told him, like, your story, your illustrations matter, especially in picture books, because that is the main thing. People love a story, but if the pictures don't bring out the words, then it doesn't make a great picture book. And he really lit up. And his mom pulled me to the side and was like, "I'm so glad that you told him that, because he feels like, just because he doesn't write, that his drawings are not telling a story or they're not important." And she was just so grateful that I encouraged him to keep going with his stories. And that is a moment again where I was like, I know really need to keep doing this, because I don't want kids to feel just because they don't like to write that
Right.
they don't have anything to say, that their storytelling is just obsolete, because not every child tells stories in the same way.
This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. So now you're expanding even more with the Children's Book Hustle Academy, helping first time authors go from idea to being published. What's your hope for that platform?
So my hope is to help children's book authors, first time children's book authors, to have the resources that I didn't have. So when I started my first book, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew that I could write a story, but how was I going to get that story into a book form? How do I had no idea. I didn't know about formatting. I didn't know about, any of the things that came with publishing a book. So I
Mhm.
had to Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, following other people on social platforms to
Yeah.
actually figure it out. I didn't really have any go-to resources. So that was something that I wanted to bridge the gap in with children's book authors. I mean, I am a children's book author. So
Mhm.
certain things when you're publishing are more specific to children's book authors and the
Yes.
publishing process. So that is what I know. So that's why I wanted to direct it towards just children's book authors. And I hope to just build a hub of resources and education as to self-publishing,
Yes.
to let them know that self-publishing it looks intimidating, and it can be, but it is so doable.
Mhm.
And if you have a story, you can put it out there. You don't have to have thousands of dollars, but if you hustle, it can happen. It can happen. And I think a lot of self-published authors, they feel like I did. Once the
Yes.
book is out, that is done. But that's the easy part. It's the marketing part aspect that
Got
authors forget. Like, oh, you have to market this book. It can be on Amazon, but Amazon's not going to push your book. So you have
Gotcha.
to, boots to the ground, really start hustling. And then that is what I want to, really drill into their mindset through the academy. So I'm just hoping to really encourage and give them the resources that I didn't have.
And so I wanted to ask, you said it's for primarily children's book authors. Do you think you'll ever expand outside of that genre to include authors? Because I might be interested in
I
some.
have I have an author. So I did. My husband has a book coming out on June 3rd, and
Okay.
I did his book. And I just did a non-children's book for the first time. And his book will be out in May 28th, next week. So that was my first time doing a non-children's book, and the process is different. It's
Yes.
not as because you have editing. There's more words, but that was fine. I mean, children's book is my lane, but
Yes.
if someone really had I would never turn them away, because I want to help people get their story out there. Children's book, I just say it's my expertise.
Yes.
That is where I built, everything that I know about through children's
Huh?
book. But yeah, I will never turn anyone away for wanting to get their story out there. So yeah, no, if you want to come, I am so here to help.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So we are going to start to talk about the launching of the Writing Cipher, which, from my understanding, is a hip hop inspired storytelling course for kids, which is a vibe within itself. Where did that idea come from? And just tell us a little bit more about it.
So the writing cipher is again something that I wanted to mesh the two things that I love, writing and hip hop. And I feel that kids, they gravitate towards more when you are doing something rather than just teaching them in a formal way. So blending hip hop with the education aspect of the writing course, it is fun, but it's given to them in a different way. I talk about, like, we have mic drop moments. We have, just things that blend the culture with the writing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, it was such a great, it was just wonderful just creating it, because I'm
Right.
actually bringing these two things together that have been such a big part of my life. And at the end, the kids, once they finish their stories, they will be a part of the first anthology project where all the kids' stories are published and they will become published authors. So that is my goal for the writing cipher, is to publish as many children authors as I can, because once they see, like, oh my God, I can do this, then they know that they did this, they can do it over and over again. They can just keep doing
Absolutely.
it. So
That's really, really good. Oh my gosh, I really love the writing cipher. And you're working on multiple new resources too. So self-publishing, unfiltered, and the story hustle. How do you manage all the hats you wear? So tell us about those two areas, and then how do you manage it all?
So the self-publishing unfiltered, they are video drops that I do
Okay.
every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yes.
So it gives I talk about something in the self-publishing as self-publisher. I give like little tidbits, things to watch out for, things they should be doing. And I wanted to start that just to help new authors, because sometimes you just forget about the little nuances of self-publishing or things you don't know. The other day I dropped one about keeping your books in your car, because you never know when an opportunity might arise when somebody might want a book. You don't have time to go home. You don't want to be like, oh, go to Amazon and have to wait for them and take royalty payments. Like, so you want to have it in your car, be ready, so that's one thing I do. So self-publishing unfiltered is something that I just thought that I can drop gems every week. And eventually I want to take all of that and put it into a self-publishing unfiltered book, like a guide for
Yes.
children's book authors. So that is something that I plan to start working on next year. The second one, Story Hustle,
Yes.
that is something that I'm working on right now. That will be out in fall 2025. And the book is called Story Hustle: How to Raise Confident Storytellers, Even If You're Not a Writer. And that is a guide that will be for parents to show them how to nurture their children's storytelling voice. It shows them how each child tells their stories differently. It will give them 5 storytelling types, and they will be able to decipher which one their child is and how to nurture that. Things they should be doing at home. Because honestly, the nurturing a child's voice starts at home. They're not
Yes.
going to be able to get that in school because there's other students. And many parents think, well, I don't like writing, or I'm not a writer, I'm not creative. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is be present, show up, and those little things will make them feel safe to continue to tell their story. So this book is super important to me, and I can't wait for it to come out to really help parents, aunties, uncles,
Yes.
caretakers, whoever child they're raising, to really help them know how to help their child.
Absolutely. And you said that will be out fall of
Fall
this year,
2025.
2025.
Not sure of the actual release date, but it will be out fall 2025.
All right. We'll be on the lookout for that. I know I definitely will. So let's talk about, before we wrap, tell us what's next for you and what are you most excited about this summer of her?
This summer of her, I'm just most excited about working on my book, getting out to different events, like outside events, to meet different readers and just network more. Social media is great, but I always tell everyone that you got to get outside to promote, to meet, to see
Yes.
what opportunities are out there. You never know who you will run into. So now that the weather will be nicer, because I don't like to be out when it's cold, I would be outside at different events and just meeting new people and just continuing to, be on my mission,
Yes.
with the list Kid Create, still trying to help other authors. It's a lot at times, and there's times where I don't want to do anything, but I remind myself that I can't quit. I mean, God has brought me so far. I still am in
Absolutely.
awe of the things that
Yes.
happen and what is happening, because I never knew it could be this. I didn't know He had this in store for me. So I don't want to, play in his space, disappoint him. I'm gonna keep going and doing what I need to do. But yeah, I'm super excited to see all the things that come, and I'm just super excited. I plan on releasing the first Let Kids Create anthology book this fall as well, and I'm excited about that because I will be able to make children authors. They'll be authors. You know what I'm saying? Their book will be on Amazon, and to see
Right.
me be able to do that for them is going to be incredible. So that is something that I'm absolutely looking forward to, and I'm excited. I'm excited.
Awesome. That is so good. So, Paula, thank you for being a light and a voice and a mentor to so many kids and authors and creatives alike. And your story is one that empowers your story is one that empowers so many others to tell theirs. And that's what saying it forward with Lou is all about. I want to just kind of pivot into something a little more fun, a little more lighthearted.
Okay.
And we're going to call this the story Cipher rapid
Okay.
fire remix. Okay. So it's just a rapid fire remix style of just questions, fun, lighthearted, and just answer with the first thing that comes to mind. All right. All right. First one, a children's book every kid should read.
Peyton's Journeys, Dream Big,
All right.
Peyton's Hip Hop Adventure.
I love it. Finish the sentence. When I write, I feel
Empowered.
yeah. Good. All right. All right. Your author alter ego name hip hop style.
Follow the pen.
Oh, I like that. Oh my goodness, I like that. Favorite writing snack or sip?
Favorite writing snack would be potato chips and flavored water. I love flavored water.
All right. And your storytelling superpower is?
My storytelling superpower is, I guess I would say I keep it 100. I think I keep it real, or however the
Yes.
kids say today.
Right. I love it. I love it. And if Peyton had a theme song, what would it be?
Peyton's theme song, I would say, oh God, that's a good one. I have so many. I would say, I don't know. Oh my God, a theme song for Peyton. That's something I got to think about because that's a good question. I'm gonna have to
Okay,
get
we
Peyton
can
the
come
theme
back to
song.
that. We can come back to
Yes,
that. We can come back to that. But I'm looking forward to hearing what it is. 3 words to describe this current season in your life.
3 words would be, I would say fearless, but I'm gonna say fearless. I'm gonna say confident and walking in my purpose. I know that's not a word, but that's how I feel this season, that I'm really walking in my purpose.
Awesome. I love it. And last one, if life were a book, the title would be.
The title would be Stop Playing in God's Face and Walk in Your Purpose.
Come on. Come on. All right. So, final challenge, give us your Hot 16 one-liner that captures your mission, your mindset right now. No pressure. No pressure, but just your version of your mic drop moment.
Oh my God, I love hip hop, but I am no rapper. Page by page, I'm changing the game. My legacy is loud. Remember my name.
I love it. Come on.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
it. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's good. That's good. So we end every episode where I invite my guests to a say it forward moment. And that's just a time to share either one truth, a lesson, or word of encouragement to another woman who needs to hear it right now. So what would you tell our listeners joining us today?
I say this all the time. If you have a dream, or if you are feeling like you're not walking in your purpose, the time is now. I mean, fear is never going to go away. It's always going to be there, but you have to just put it to the side, or just walk with it, or go through it. And God is waiting to bless you on the other side. He's just waiting for you. I am a perfect example that the things that I just wanted, the basic one book, the way he just showed out in that first year of me being an author is amazing. So I say, just do it. If you don't know, if you have no idea what you're doing, I promise you, you're fly. You just figure it out. You will figure it out. Don't deny the world of your greatness, because what you have to offer is I guarantee you, it's what someone else needs. So, if God is telling you to move, move. Definitely move.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Paula, your story, your courage, your creativity truly poured life into this conversation today. So, before we close, I'd love to seal the moment with a word of prayer and encouragement, not just over what you've shared, but over the many lives that your words will reach today. So I just want to say, thank you, God. We thank you for this space and for the gift of Paula Banks, your vessel, your daughter, and your storyteller, Lord. Thank you for the courage you placed in her heart, for the pen you placed in her hand, and for the purpose that you have placed in her life. And Lord, we ask that you continue to expand her territory. Breathe fresh wind into every vision that she carries, Lord, whether through publishing, creating, or leading, and let her words continue to awaken, restore, and ignite purpose into those who read them. Cover her mind, her family, her business, and every room she is called to walk into. So today we declare that her creativity will not run dry, that her voice will never be silenced, and that your favor will follow her into every season. Thank you for the seeds that she has sown today, and may they grow into the fruit that nourishes others for years to come. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that.
You are welcome. So y'all, if today blessed you in any way and it made you want to pick up your pen, dust off that dream, go ahead and do it, because Paula reminded us that your story matters. And whether you were 7 to 70, 8 to 80, right? Your story matters. Your voice has value. Your journey has purpose, and the world is waiting to hear from you. So Paula, let our listeners know where they can follow you, purchase your books, sign up for any of your programs if they have children, or for themselves. Where can they follow Paula Banks?
You can reach me at my website is www.eionbooks.com. My books are also on Amazon, but I would prefer you go to my website. I am on Instagram I have 3 different ones, at author Paula Banks. And then I have one for my Lit Kids Create, that's at Lit Kids Create. And then for my Eon Books Publishing is at Eon Books. And you can find me there if you are interested in any of my resources or anything. You can find all that information on my website.
All right, very good. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Follow www.sayitforwardwithlou.com, sayitforward_podcast on Instagram, and stay rooted, stay radiant, and as always, stay tuned, stay a while, and let's continue to say it forward together. Paula, I'm so thankful that you have
Thank you for
joined us
having me.
today. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing all that is coming. And it's just good to see you.
I know. It's been a long time, but I'm so thankful that you reached out and asked me to be a part of your summer series. So for you, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And until next time, let's keep saying it forward together. Take care.